Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, this is going to be my 2022 reading wrap up. Because I've read 94 books this year, I'm not going to be doing every single book I've read. I'm going to be doing my top ones. So my top standalones, my top series, my top standalones that are interconnected series. I'm going to be doing all that jazz. Now, all of these books are all 18 above. Every single one of them. And I'm going to trying to give you the tropes and all that jazz. But to be honest, I kind of go into most books blind. But I will try my hardest for you guys. I actually have got everything written down and ready. But yeah, if you're a young adult under the age of 18, none of these books can be recommended to you. If you want to go read them, then sure, but I am saying they're over 18. But yeah, just putting that out there. So yeah, now let's get started. Let's get started with one of my favourite books of this year, and now one of my favourite authors, and that is this beauty. Pung 57, Penelope Douglas. This is now been traditionally published. This is the version that is self-published. I will also be getting the traditionally published one this year. But yeah, Pung 57 is one of my favourites. This is a dark romance. A lot of Penelope Douglas books have got trauma and a dark romance themed, putting it out there, but this is pretty tame. I would recommend to read this one before the Devil's Night series, as in the end, some of the characters from Devil's Night are linked, and Misha is also mentioned in the Devil's Night. So the characters in these books kind of are interconnected, but this is a standalone from them. They just mention the characters, which is why I recommend to read this first, because then you can understand who them characters are before you get into the huge series that is the Devil's Night series. This is about Misha, who has a pen pal, and his pen pals with Ren, and so they've been pen pals for years, and he goes to the school but changes his name, and he meets Ren, and it's not what he expects at all. There is some stuff in here that you need to check trigger warnings for, but this is so good. The smut in this is beautiful. This is my first ever Penelope Douglas book, and I put off reading this for ages on my Kindle, and I fell in love with it. This is still my top book of this year still, and I've read so many good books, but nothing can knock this. I think it's because it was my first like dark romance, proper dark romance, and it was just incredible. Misha is my book boyfriend, and if anyone's seen my TikTok, everyone knows it, because I basically am the main. I make so much like Misha content, but yeah, they have funny conversations in it, and it's just about two kids in high school. They are in high school, but they are of age, pre-warning. If you're from the UK, high school in America, they kind of end at 18 instead of 16 like us, so they're in their 18s, so it's fine. But yeah, this book's incredible. Misha's a musician as well, so there's that kind of thing in it, and it's just incredible. I would completely recommend everyone to read this. I'm really sorry, I'm really bad at describing books, but if you want to go find out what it's about, just look at some aesthetic videos, because they're pretty right. But yeah, Misha's a musician, an artist, if I will. So I think everyone should go read that just for that. So the next one is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Veronica Murphy. Some people have mixed reviews on this. I fell in love with it. This was 5 stars. I was like, oh my god, can't put it down, can't put it down, can't put it down. I read over 300 pages in one sitting, which is not like me. I never do that. If a book grips me that much that I literally forget the outside world, that's when I know it's a good book. And I give it 5 stars immediately, just for being able to take me out of the fact that, like, I forget about my phone, I forget about life, I'm just in the book. That's an amount of 5 stars for me. And this is about Ren Beaumont and Crew Lancaster, and they go to Lancaster Prep. As you can tell, Crew's family owns Lancaster Prep, so he's kind of like not a bad boy, but he's like a bit like, I can get away with anything. Ren is very much work hard, I got here kind of thing. They're from a rich family, so rich families are involved in this. If you don't like that sort of thing, then this isn't gonna be for you. At the beginning, Crew is kind of like creepy-ish, which is why quite people don't like it, but I don't know. I think I've read that much that at this point I just like a book, and I just know and I like it. Ren wears a purity ring around her neck, and Crew doesn't want to have it anymore. So yeah, and it's just about them, and they get teamed together on a psych like project, and it's just incredible. And also, to go along with this, Veronica Murphy has just released birthday kisses, birthday kisses, and that's kind of like a little mini extension on the end of this. It's about 50 pages. I've read both of them. This is incredible. This is also now being traditionally published. I know you can still get the self-published, but this is being traditionally published, and it's just amazing. And it's all based around this kind of design, which is linked to the name and everything. Like, everything makes sense, and it's just beautiful. I love this book so much. Would recommend. It's not a dark romance, it's just like a romance with rich people, but yeah, you have to be over 18. But let me know if you read this and what you guys think, because this is like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it, and I just love this book. Next book is another dark romance. Now, this is technically an interconnected standalone, because each book is like the same cover and everything, and they're all based around fairy tales, but they're not actually based around fairy tales. So this one's Hooked, and then there's Scarred, which is Lion King. There's Wizard of Oz is the third one, and then the newest one is the Aladdin. But I don't really like any of them, but people are saying like they're not the same, so I'm going to give them a go, because I love her writing style. But this one is based around Peter Pan and Wendy. She says they're not connected, but the names, the thing with the crocodiles, and like when you read it you're like, actually this is quite linked. But this is by Emily Mattia, don't know, but this is Hooked. It's a dark romance. There is murder involved in it. You can see it pretty gruesome, but it's like you had to like kill you vibes. Hook is called James, but he goes by the nickname Hook, and he's trying to get revenge, but ends up falling in love with the person that he wasn't supposed to fall in love with, because he's trying to get revenge on her father. Damn. And like, she's got money, but she just works in the coffee shop. She's doing everyday normal life things, and James comes along, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and I fell in love with this. This is another 5-star read. Like, I think nearly every single one is either a 5-star read or a 4.75, and this was a 5-star read. I don't know what it was. This is just crack. It's an incredible dark romance. It's not too traumatic to say it's a dark romance. Like, it's just a perfect mix of trauma with dark romance, and the smut, and the things he does in the smut is just chef's kiss. And yeah, I fell in love. Also, the cover is stunning. This is being traditionally published again by Blooms Books. This wasn't originally traditionally published, but it is now, which is amazing. And I don't know what it is about it. This is another one I don't know what it is. I just got lost in the book, and it was just incredible. But yeah, but Wendy is a pawn in James's games, and she gets messed around, and it's incredible. And there's also a brother involved, and then there's like the plot twist at the end. Oh my god, the plot twist at the end is what you need to read this book for, because I wasn't expecting it. Like, the plot twist came and I was like, huh? What you on about? And it was like, oh my god, okay, now everything that's happened in the past and present now makes sense because there's one plot twist. And I just read it for the plot twist and the fact that it's James Hook, and he reminds me of, if you've ever seen Descendants, you know, Captain Hook's like son in Descendants, what's his name, Thomas Dothiery? He reminds me of him, and I imagine James Scottish, but he's actually British, but I imagine him with a Scottish accent, not a British accent, not an English accent, because of Descendants. But yeah, that's who he reminds me of. So if you want to read it for that image in your head, yes, read it for the plot twist as well though, because it's incredible. The next book, which is also another interconnected standalone, but she's only released the first book, is Icebreaker. I could not go in this video without adding Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Now, this hit the book talk community with a tidal wave. This is about a figure skater and an ice hockey player. The ring gets shut down because somebody decided to break one of the ice rings, and they have to team together. The figure skating team and the ice hockey team, and this is just easy reading. It's not too complicated. A lot of people didn't like it because of the fact that there was not really going on. I like a book that just gives me like basic everyday life things. I don't know why. I just vibe with it. I vibe with either dark romance or everyday things. But this is an ice hockey and a figure skater, so what more could you want? This hit the series book talk with such a tidal wave. It's now being traditionally published by Simon & Schuster. I have it pre-ordered for Jan because I want the traditionally published one, which is this one. The traditionally published one, which is going to be how the rest of the series are going to come out. So I'm going to keep the self-published one, so I can be like, I've got this self-published one before it was even like popular, and then I can get the rest of the series in the published versions. I don't know how many it's going to be. Apparently there's going to be like 8 of these, so I cannot wait because you get to introduce all the characters, and I cannot wait for Henry's. I'm so excited. I freaking love them. I freaking love all of them in this, to be honest. And yeah, my friend actually bought this for me because she knew I kept raving on about it and wouldn't get it on Kindle. So she bought it for me, and I'm just so happy. I cannot wait for the published version. Apparently they aged up Stacey a little bit, who's this person, but I don't know, so I'm gonna like maybe reread it. But yeah, I fell in love with this. If you like an ice hockey romance, read this one, because Nate Hawkins, everyone needs a Nate Hawkins in their life. And it's also a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She's Grumpy, he's Sunshine. He's like a golden retriever energy as well, so I don't know what more you could want. But yeah, this book, so good. And it's going to be an interconnected standalone, but currently it is a standalone because the rest of them aren't out yet. Now we're on to the series. That's right, we're on to the series. I've got internet connected series and I've got normal. The Icebreaker was in the standalones because, like I said, it's currently in the standalone and not an interconnected series yet. Basically, I've done 5 books for each one, by the way, so hopefully everything makes sense. But we'll start off with my series that I've just recently read, and there is a video of me reading a week of reading, which the last one is in. These beauties, these puppies, oh, they're beautiful. So this is The Boys of Tom Med, which is Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Saving 6 is coming out soon, and there will be 8 of these books by Chloe Walsh. So she's currently writing them. These are based in 2005, which I'm kind of vibe with the fact they're not modern day, because like you're trying to remember back to what phones are. Like when I read them and thought about phones, I was thinking like smartphones, and then I remembered it wouldn't be a smartphone, it would be a flip phone, which I think is kind of mental. It is based on a rugby player in Ireland who's at the top of his game. He is so good, and she is just a girl who's from public school but has to move to a private school because of the fact that she is getting bullied. They does deal with a lot of abuse, and I mean the main book revolves around said abuse, so please do take that in mind and check trigger warnings. But these are some thick books, and they're just basically everyday life. Her dealing with what she's dealing with, him dealing with it, them two falling in love, their friends falling in love. You get to see around this time of like from their eyes of what their friends are like. And I feel like when we move more in the series, having know what you can see through their eyes of their friends, and then when their friends' books comes up, so good. So she is 15 in the beginning, but then turns 16, and he is 17 going on 18, and he is like the best rugby player in Ireland for his age and above. And it's basically their life, trying to get through everything, trying to get through the bullying. And yeah, these are incredible. I don't know what it is. I was just reading them and I was like, why am I loving such an easy read? They're just not special really happening. It's just everyday life. But if you're going to read them, you need both of them. This one ends and then this one starts straight away. It ends on a cliffhanger and this starts straight away. So you need both of them just to be able to read it. But then this one, I feel like the next book is about her brother, Sharon's brother, and his girlfriend, which you are met in this one and this one. So this actually ends really lovely. But apparently we'll be getting another Johnny and Sharon book. So I'm very excited for that one because these two are my favourite. And I cannot wait for Claire and Gibbs, because like you see some of the behind the scenes, because Gibbs is Johnny's best friend and Claire is Shannon's best friend, so you get to see like their relationship unfold as well, and I cannot wait to see it. This series is just everyday, well, not everyday life, because obviously there's abuse involved in it and that's not every day, but it's like their everyday life and not really special, and it's just incredible. These are very underrated. I've not heard many people talk about them. I've heard 2 people, one of them was my friend, and everyone needs to read these, and these need to be traditionally published. But you know, these are just beautiful books, and I can't wait for the rest of them. I am so excited for the next ones. I think the next ones are coming out in Feb as well, and my birthday's in Feb, so perfect timing. Which one should we go into next? We'll do these ones. So, this is a mafia romance series, and the only queen of mafia that I know of is one person, and that is Sophie like herself. These are the Brutal Prince series. I have got 3 of them. I've read 2 of them, and I've got the 3rd one, which I haven't actually read yet. But I'm going to reread this entire series because I haven't read them recently enough. So yeah, so the first one is The Brutal Prince. The 3rd one is Stolen Heir, and the 4th one is Savage Lover. Apparently this has got racing involved in it, so that's exciting because anything to do with racing and cars, I'm involved in it. But these are basically surrounded by mafia gangs in, what city is it? What city is it? Oh yeah, the Griffins and the Gallows have been battling for control of the Chicago underworld for generations. So that's involved in this one. There's the Russian gang, which is mentioned in Brutal Prince, is involved in this one, and I have no idea for the 3rd one because I've not read it yet. But this series is just incredible. There is a couple of them. I have these versions, which are the illustrated ones, because they have more of a, as you can see, a discreet cover to them. And I got these 2 for Christmas very kindly from 2 of my friends because they knew I'm collecting them, and these are expensive, so I'd get them on Kindle if I can. But if you want the really pretty covers, these are the ones to get. They are absolutely stunning. There is drawings involved in them, and this series is just so good. I'll tell you through the first one because obviously this is the one that's going to get you in it. Callum and what's her name? Callum and Adia have to get married because something went wrong, and now they have to get married, and he's allergic to strawberries, as you can tell by the cover, and she eats strawberries before kissing him, and when they're getting married, and then it goes from there. It's them trying to find themselves and find what it's going to be like. And then this one, the second one, he steals Griffin's daughter, not Callum, his sister, because he wants revenge, and they fall in love. So if you don't want any of that, then don't read it. But if you love a mafia book, Sophie Like is the person to go for, and Sophie Like is the only person that I know of who does the best mafia books. However, I need to read the Maid series, so I'm very tempted to buy them, the Maid series. But yeah, these are beautiful. Which one should we go to now? Let's get the big bad boys out of the way. These is the Devil's Night series. These are incredible. Now, I've got to admit, the first one is still my fave, and the first one so far has only been my favourite one. I do love every single one of them, but each one just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and I don't see why they're so long. Like, they don't need to be as long as they are, which is, I think, why I don't enjoy them as much as the first one, because the first one was the right size, about 450 pages. It was the right size book, and they just keep getting longer and longer. Like, I don't even know how, like Nightfall, this one, it's around 700 pages, so it's a bit intimidating, but yeah. But these are an incredible book series. I would highly recommend. There is 4 books and 2 novellas. They're quite pricey, so I would probably get them on Kindle Unlimited unless they're coming out traditionally published, and then I'd probably buy them traditionally published. I might get them traditionally published as well, to be honest. But these are an incredible series. It's The Devil's Night, and it's about the 4 boys, and so there's 4 boys and then there's 4 girls as well, and everyone is involved, and you see every single relationship throughout every book. They're interconnected standalones, but you have to read them in order. It's like all of these interconnected standalones, so Brutal Prince, Devil's Night, and Icebreaker, you have to read them in order for them to make sense, because otherwise nothing will make sense. So you have to read them in order because of the fact of the way that they're written. So just putting that out there. But yeah, these books are incredible. I'm not going to try to lift them. I'm literally dying just trying to hold them. But they're incredible book series. Like I said, the moment you read Punk 57 and fall in love, you will fall in love with these. Like, everyone loves them. They are quite dark. They're very dark. And it's a bully romance, just like Punk 57. Punk 57 is also a bully romance, and these are a bully romance. I personally love a good old bully romance. Don't know why, but I do. Bully romance is just my sort of thing. But yeah, these are a bully romance and involved, and they do go backwards and forwards in time. So if you don't like that, you may not even like it that much. But I personally don't mind the fact that it goes flicks back in time because it makes sense when you're reading it. But yeah, these are an amazing book series. And yeah, I read anything by Penelope Douglas, literally anything. So, you know, can't really say much to that. But yeah, I would highly recommend these as an interconnected standalone if you enjoy a good old dark romance, bully romance. Let's do another interconnected standalone. Why not? We'll end on one of my favourite series. All of these, by the way, are some of my favourites. So, that's why. Now, this is the Queen, Anna Huang, Twisted series. Everyone and their mum's read these books, but if you haven't, you need to. So this is Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies. This series is now completely finished and has started bringing out her new series, which is kind of connected, so you need to read these before you read King of Wrath, which I'll show you in a second. But just because it's in the same world as these, with some of the characters you've already met in these, and also the guy from King of Wrath is mentioned in this one, I believe. So you have to read this one for that to kind of make sense. I love them, but I love it when authors do that, when they have interconnected books and book series. It just makes my heart happy. So first one is Twisted Love. This is the thinnest one out of all of them, and this is about Alex and Ava, who started off. There is trauma involved throughout both things, and Alex is a best friend. Alex is her brother's best friend, so it's brother's best friend romance, and also they close proximity because he's living next door to her and has to look after her, and they fall in love and it's all cute. But he has a nice heart and she melts it. Want to know how? Read. The next one is A Princess and a Bodyguard. Who doesn't love A Princess and a Bodyguard? This is amazing. This is about Bridget and Reese. By the way, Ava, Bridget, Jules and Stella are all best friends, and they were introduced in the first one, so it's about 4 best friends, these books. But yeah, bodyguard and a princess, and yeah, he has to take care of her and help her run around. She lives in the US and then has to move back to her hometown, so it's all about that, and it's amazing. Ooh, all the books are fallen. The next one is Twisted Hate. Now, as the name says, they hate each other. Now, this is Ava's brother Josh and Jules, who are best friends. So basically, it's brother's best friend. No, wait. No, it's not. It's sister's best friend. Don't know if that's a trope, but you know, it's fine. Or it's, well, technically, it's best friend's brother. So, however you look at it, it's best friend's brother, ain't it? But yeah, this is amazing. They hate each other. And they always have. But why, may you ask? Well, we get told in this book why they've hated each other for the last 2 books, and I kind of love it. This is like being put in shops as 21 plus to read because of the spice in this book. Oh my god, it's from start to finish. It's brilliant. It's one of the only books in this series that from start to finish has been some. And it's beautiful. Also, I don't know why, but this book's just floppy. And I don't know why. But yeah, this book is incredibly good. And I know everyone likes this because it's also technically enemies to lovers. Most of these books are actually enemies to... Actually, all of them are technically... They hated each other in the beginning. They love each other in the end. So technically, they're all enemies to lovers. This entire series. And then the last one is Twisted Lies. Now... Oh, I cracked the spine of this. Billionaire, close proximity, living in the same flat, best friends. He's the boss of Reese. What more could you want? She's got a stalker, he's protecting her, he doesn't want to go out anywhere, he falls in love with that within a second, you know. Also, everyone needs a Christian in their life, so read it, because everyone needs a Christian in their life. If I haven't convinced you to read it, go on TikTok,